every year I've done a gift guide, and every year I've pretended like all that stuff was in my brain, all the prices and stuff were in my mind. This year I'm not doing that. This year I'm not even gonna pretend. I have my computer here so I can give you the most recent prices on these items. These are under 50 bucks, so grab bag, Secret Santa, gift exchanges where maybe there's a monetary limit. Under 50 bucks, that's what we're talking about. And I have over 30 items to share with you, including one which I'm going to announce today, very last, which nobody's ever seen before. Pretty cool stuff. So, over 30 items. I have listed and linked them in the description below. So anything that you see here, I'd appreciate it if you use the link down below. Some of those are affiliate links. Other times I don't have an affiliate link to those, so I just give you a link to the product page. Really, it's for your convenience more than anything else, so that's why everything is down there in order that I show it in this video. So I'm done rambling. Let's get on to the first item. Now, the first one is a book, okay? And books can be a hit or miss, I know. But this one I think will really, it'll be good for almost anybody. And it is called The Way I Heard It by Mike Rowe. Now, I've been listening to the Mike Rowe podcast for a while, which is also called The Way I Heard It. And it's supposed to be for the curious mind with the short attention span. What he does in there is like 5-6 minute stories of somebody who, you know, he doesn't reveal until the end maybe who it is. They're always fascinating and very, very interesting stuff. So I guess this book is full of those things. This is something that's actually on my list too. I don't have one yet. But according to this, you go to Amazon, you can get them for just about $15. So well under our $50 limit. But I'm a big fan of Mike Rowe. I think he's awesome. And I think that he's just very entertaining. So this is a book that I think everybody is going to like. All right, up next is the Green Bell nail clippers. Now stop, before you go, what the hell? Nail clippers? You kidding me? Hear me out, okay? And the reason I got these was because I was sick and tired of buying these cheap, like CVS brand or Walgreens brand nail clippers, and I'd have like hang nails, and it was just, you know, every day I kept on like finding myself picking away because I had some rough edge or something I was trying to wear down, whatever. I said, forget it. You know what? I'm gonna spend some money. I'm actually gonna get a decent pair of nail clippers. And that's what I did. And these are so sharp that after you're done clipping your nails, you know, sometimes the very edge has like a really sharp edge to it. These are so sharp that you almost don't even need to like run a file, or sometimes I take it and I just kind of run them against my jeans just to get the rough edges off. These are so sharp you don't even have to do that. So they're by a company called Green Bell, and I believe the company is actually out of Japan. But luckily for you and I, we can get it on Amazon. There are a couple of different options here. The ones that I have, I believe, are the G1205, and those are 15, 16 bucks. They have a couple of other models which may have different things, like, you know, those swing out deals that you can use to like clean under your nail, whatever. So you can go check those out. But to be honest with you, these things really are several steps above any nail clipper I've ever used, and they make a huge difference. And when it comes to your grooming, it is important. All right, up next is an original combat flag from the company Combat Flags. Now, I actually originally heard of these guys through the Mike Rowe program. I think it's called Returning the Favor. And what's interesting about these, you get, like, I think it's a 4x6 flags. It's $38. They're actually made from battle-worn or duty-worn fatigues. I'm not sure if there's I mean, whatever. So either worn fatigues, all right? Made, you know, and the flag is also accompanied by a card which tells you a little bit about the person who wore those fatigues. So they'll give you a little bit of backstory about what you're actually holding in your hand. But the most important thing of this, although it is a great display piece, something that would look very nice, hung up pretty much anywhere, the greatest thing about this, though, is that 50% of the of every sale is donated to stop soldier suicide. So, I mean, it's a great cause. You get something really cool with a story behind it, and it also supports our military men and women. So, I mean, I just think that it's a home run all around, and for 38 bucks, no brainer. Next up, for around about 30 bucks, depending on where you get it, is an AeroPress. Now, I know this has sort of become like an accessory of the traditional hipster, and I get it, but you know what? Sometimes, no matter who it is, people get it right. And I got one of these to use in our job site trailer because we had a Keurig machine. We still have it, actually. And it just, the Keurig coffee, it just kind of sucks, all right? So I got one of these so that way I could make the coffee that I want, which isn't available in K-Cups, and have a decent cup of coffee without having a whole giant apparatus. This is small enough that it collapses and it sits in my desk drawer. Don't have to worry about keeping it out or anything like that. And it's also, I mean, like I mentioned, about 30 bucks. There are two different versions. There's a taller original version, and I know they have a smaller one now, which sort of collapses down into its own little cup. And that's really cool too. That's probably the one. I have the older one, the original one, but if I had to do it again, I would get the newer one. But again, if you're a coffee lover or if you're somebody who knows somebody who's a coffee lover, this is a great way to have whatever brew, however you want. All you really need is hot water and coffee, and then there you go. You're good. You're good. You're set. And it's a huge upgrade from the Keurig cups that I just haven't had one. Have you ever had one that's any good? Because I haven't. The Carhartt Force Performance Socks. Now, they have 3 different models. The Crew, sort of those like really low ones, like a mid-calf one. 3 different heights. All right, I'm sorry, I don't know the nomenclature right now. But anyway, 3 different kinds you can get. A 3-pack is about 12 bucks. And I actually bought a pair of the taller ones, and I've been using them. Now, I do prefer wool, but wool is expensive. I mean, you're going to get 1 pair of wool socks for like 20 bucks. Here you get a 3-pack for about 12. And they're really great. I mean, you know, again, I prefer wool, but, you know, people have been wearing cotton for a long time, so there's nothing really to hate on there. And especially if they're a gift, or if you're getting them just because you blow through socks, or maybe you're breaking in a new pair of boots, and what you're doing is you're changing out your socks halfway through the day. It also works well if it's really cold out. Just changing out your socks, keeping moisture at bay, does a great job. And these are really nice, stretchy, moisture wicking, comfortable. You know, and for 12 bucks, how could you go wrong? Now, the Nomad Universal Cable has got to be one of the most handy things that I've gotten in the last year. Really. I mean, the fact that you can they have a bunch of different ones. So if you have USB-C, original USB, all micro USB, you can plug it into your computer, and instead of changing out that cord, like if you have an iMac, you know, the plug is like around the back, so you either have to get up and plug it. It's a pain in the neck. Instead, what I do is I have this thing hanging out, and on the end of it are 3 different types of connections. So you can either put in USB-C, micro USB, or lightning cable. And again, they have different ones for different people. If you're an Android user, they have one specifically meant for you. The actual cable itself is woven with Kevlar, so you just basically can't break it. It's been so handy that I've given a couple of these as gifts myself, because I know that the people who I've given them to are going to love them. Now, the prices range depending on which one you're going to get, but I think at the top end, like the longest one with like the most expensive accessories, is like 39 bucks. But really, I have the short one just because it's so close, and I think for a laptop that's best. But I think they actually have these 6 feet long, let's see, yeah, 3 meters long. So you can get a couple of different lengths depending on what you want. The one that I have is the 0.3 meter one. That's 25 bucks. Again, they go up to about 40 bucks with the different lengths, but this is one of those things that once you have one, it's hard to remember a time when you had to deal without it. Red Nose Leather. I have a little collaboration coming up with Red Nose Leather, which I'm going to release in a little while once I get my act together here. But Red Nose, you know, he started to make like key fobs and wallets and stuff like that. But this guy, his real sweet spot is making sheaths. Now, it's hard to put a price on this because depending on the size and the style and the different options you choose, 50 bucks could be surpassed easily. But if you have something like a smaller hatchet, a smaller knife, I think you can get in under that $50 price point, or very, very close to it. And the craftsmanship on this, the edge finishing, the different types of leather, he actually carves in what looks almost like a pinstripe. Very cool stuff. Definitely eye-popping. You know, it makes my Grand Force Brooks sheaths look like junk by comparison. But again, small maker, really, really nice stuff. I can't say enough about it. Again, the prices will depend on the size and the complexity of what you order, but supporting a small maker, I think you can get under 50 bucks for a smaller The 2 Under Power Shift is my favorite pair of underwear. Now, they're from Australia, and I haven't even had a chance to talk to anybody from that company. I just keep getting their underwear. When somebody asks me what I want for Christmas, that's what I tell them, because I'm trying to replace every single pair of boxers that I have. My Tommy Johns, my Ex Officio I tried for a little while, a couple of other brands in there. These are the best I've ever tried. They're called 2 Under. The model that I like is called the Power Shift, and I think they're somewhere around $30, so they're not cheap. But that's why they're like a great gift. So if your mother is asking you what you want for Christmas, and you don't want her to spend too much money, say, give me a pair of underwear. For her, it's 30 bucks. It's underwear, so it seems like it's something that's really, you know, a mom type of gift. But you get to collect these things, and I swear to God, they just don't seem to wear out. I put them on, you forget they're there. They have a little way of sort of compartmentalizing everything with different pouches. It's very comfortable. But the durability is really second to none. And anytime anybody asks me what underwear I recommend, it's this company 2 Under. I can't say enough about them. They're really great. I'm wearing a pair now. From Toyo, the Camber Top Toolbox. Now I'm looking at a picture of it right now because it reminds me so much of the toolboxes that my father had. You know, when you would put all of your tools into a small box and bring it with you. And I remember he would have one that was set up for plumbing, one that had electrical stuff in it. So basically, whatever task it was around the house that he had to do, he would grab one of these toolboxes. Now, they just look the part. I can imagine they come in 5 different colors here. You get a black, a blue, a red, and a silver. They come in at 35 bucks. Now, there's nothing really crazy fancy here. You don't have any sort of ball bearing hinges or solid brass, anything, but it's 35 bucks. It's just a really cool looking old school toolbox. And this is something that I think, even if you're not somebody who uses tools very often, this is something that you could easily put under your desk, next to your desk, or on your desk to hold other things. You know, cables, pens and pencils, different devices, whatever you want. It's a great way to store stuff, and you know, really, the sky's the limit as far as what you can use it for. But again, 35 bucks, really cool looking, very retro and interesting. So yeah, Toyo, the camber top toolbox. I want one. Zippo lighters. The sound of a Zippo being flicked open is something that almost anybody can recognize. They're amazing. And now you can buy these, the very like basic models, for somewhere around like $19.95. Or I'm looking on their website here, and they do go over $100 for some of the more decorative designs. So depending on who you are, who you're buying for, could really sort of sway the price one way or the other quite drastically. But a lot of these are very, very artistic. And I saw one, I'm trying to find it here. I've been looking for a bit before I started recording, I swear. It's brass, and it looks like a Ouija board in the outside. And it's just a really cool looking design. And when you get something that's brass, it's going to look even cooler after a little while of wearing it and using it. The original silver is great too. And I've even seen places where you can get at least the case, I think, filled with a new lighter unit on the inside that was from like World War II or the Vietnam War, where these guys had these things and would engrave them. You know, some say like death from above or whatever, or maybe their unit number, and they're super cool patina. And they also have obviously a story that a soldier carried this thing overseas somewhere. Now those can be tricky to get, and trying to make sure that one is actually authentic is really difficult. And again, we're probably talking about 50 bucks, but that just shows you the range that you can go in here. Anywhere from 20 bucks to well over 100 bucks, as I'm seeing here for some of these really elite ones, which are pretty crazy, but interesting stuff. So you can definitely find one to match the person who you're buying for. Here's an interesting one. My buddy Tony Rouse has come up with a whole line of different fragrances and candles. I think I even mentioned that he has a couple colognes. Now, again, depending on what you get, if you could buy a whole set of these things, it's going to be over 50 bucks. Or you could buy one thing and have it be under. So the best thing to do is go over there. I believe the website is meetTonyRouse.com, and you can check out his whole line of fragrances over there. The one that I like is called Savage. I actually burn that over in my other room when I'm editing and stuff. It's just a really cool kind of masculine scent, and he said that that's one that's been very popular. That's my favorite, but there are several other fragrances as well. But just again, you know, an independent maker, small business, I really like supporting those guys. So meetTonyRouse.com. I think that's where you can go and you can check out the whole line. Stormy Kromer is one of the brands that I really have to cover this next year. I swear it's on my to-do list, all right? They have some really cool stuff, including a jacket which I think may rival the FILSON Mackinac Cruiser. The layout's a little bit different, but I really want to get one and compare it to my Mackinac to see what the differences are. But for the purposes of this video, the one I want to talk to you about is the Outsider bandana. It's 20 bucks, and I got one of these last year. Now, what it basically is a bandana, right? You know, typical sort of triangular shape. I believe it's a Velcro closure. On the inside is sort of a fleece material. This is something, though, that has become really timely, especially now in our times of COVID and stuff, where it could be used in the cold weather to be put around your mouth. What it's really intended for, though, is keeping you warm. So when you're really cold, it's one of those days or nights where it's just getting really frigid, I would put this thing on, and it would actually tuck under my hard hat in the back, and it kept my face nice and warm. And I preferred it to one of those like balaclava types, which really goes against your mouth, because when you breathe, you get those ice crystals on the outside. It's not very good. Now, that will happen with this, any kind of condensation, but it's more open since it is a bandana, so your breath tends to escape a little bit better. But I always had one of these in my pocket in the wintertime, because when it gets really cold and your face starts getting cold, you get miserable really quickly. This is a great way to just warm up just a wonderful product, and I believe this is a made in the USA item as well. Yep, made in the USA with US and globally sourced materials for 20 bucks. I'm telling you, they're great. Another made in the USA product comes from Buck Knives, and now this is the 140 Packlight Skinner knife, and it's a skeletonized knife, which I believe is Cerakoted, and you can get it in 3 different colors, either silver, black, or a really cool looking orange. Comes with a sheath, and it's made in the USA, as I mentioned. But what's cool about these skeletonized knives is, you know, they're really not that comfortable to use long term. You know, I really wouldn't want to do a lot of, you know, like bushcraft with one because of the handle. But when it comes to EDC and that kind of thing, I really think this blade shape has a nice belly to it. The skeletonized little cutouts in there, I would bet you could probably use as a bottle opener. I mean, I know people who can use, you know, almost anything as a bottle opener, but I bet you could probably use that as such as well. I remember seeing this a while ago with, I think the brand Essie had a really cool looking one a while ago, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was more expensive than this. 30 bucks, made in the USA, just a, you know, a legendary brand. And I think that, you know, if you have somebody on your list who is into EDC or is into knives, no matter how many you have, you could always use one more. Trust me. As being one of those people, I can speak to that. So 30 bucks, that's a hell of a buy. All right, for $49.95 from EMS, and I think there's a couple different places you can get it from. The brand MSR, which is a very trusted name, has a really cool pocket water filter. Now, the name of this is actually the Trail Shot pocket-sized water filter. This is one of those things that you don't really know that you need it until you really need it. So if you're out on the trail all day and you're carrying water, and you have a full hydro pack or something like that, and you don't have the ability to get any more water. So say something happens and you now need to spend the night out in the wilderness, or you're just out there and you need more water. You know, you're getting thirsty and you drank through your supply. This is a good, quick, and easy way to get clean water from a stream, from a source where there's all kind of bacteria and stuff in there that you may not want to ingest. And for just about 50 bucks, it's one of the cheapest ones you can buy as well. And being so small and packable means that it won't add a lot of weight. So if you're somebody who likes to even just go on day trips and you don't want to bring a huge, giant water filtration device because you probably will never use it, this is a great thing to have just in case. It doesn't really cost you anything as far as weight goes, and it may just save your life depending on where you are, especially if you're hiking in some of these really hot climates. And I think it's one of those deals that the Life Straw is another good one, but that comes in over 50 bucks. This is probably one of the least expensive that I saw from a reputable brand and one that I would trust. So that's a really cool one. And if there's somebody on your list who's into hiking, backpacking, camping, that kind of thing, they're going to appreciate this. Fox River Socks. Now, here's a great brand for you. You can buy, of course, different socks in there, but they have a lot of great wool options for less than you would find at a place like, my favorite is Darn Tough, Vermont, and we'll get to those a little bit later. But I've been meaning to try Fox River because they seem to have a lot of the same advantages for less. Now, they also have some funky designs and stuff like that, so if you want a wool sock, and I think they have some cotton as well, it's a great place to go and look. They're a brand that I'm going to pick up this year to see how they compare against Darn Tough Vermont and see if they can really stand up to it, but they definitely come in at a lower price point. So, depends on which one you get, but none of them are going to be over 50 bucks. If you're paying over 50 bucks for a pair of socks, they better be something special. But anyway, yeah, Fox River. For $12, the minimum playing cards are really interesting. Now, playing cards are one of those things that are just good to have around the house or someplace where you're hanging out because they basically alleviate boredom. So if you're sitting there and you're just hanging out with a friend and you want to do something, you can start playing a game of cards, you know? And these are just really neat because they're so minimalist and sleek looking that I think they're just a little bit different and unique. And again, for 12 bucks, they make a great stocking stuffer, well under the $50 mark, but unique enough that it looks like you didn't just go and pick up a pack of like the 2 bicycle playing card pack thing you can get. They're a little bit different, a little more unique, something interesting, and one of those things that's good to have around just so you don't get to that really big lull in the conversation. You tell the guy to get the hell out. Now, from FILSON, one of the companies that really is hit or miss at exactly $50, we have their oil tin low profile cap. It's a cool looking hat, no doubt about it. It's pretty expensive for a hat, but at the same time, if you're giving a gift, you know, I wouldn't mind having one of these as a gift, no doubt about it. And it's with some of their signature materials being that oil tin material. It's cool looking, comes in 2 different colors. If you have somebody on your list who's into quality goods or likes the brand FILSON, it's probably one of the least expensive things that you can get on their website. Pretty cool looking stuff. And also, I've never seen one of these in the wild. It'll definitely age nicely. And you know, it's just one of those products from a brand that everybody knows, really. FILSON is well known throughout the world, it seems. So yeah, not a bad looking hat. Now, if that's too expensive for you, but you still like the idea of a well-made hat, well, Carhartt and 47 have teamed up to make a whole bunch of different team-related hats. So you can buy, you know, your favorite NFL team, NBA team, all kinds of different things here, and a couple different styles. So if you like a mesh back, if you like a solid back, all kinds of flat cap, all types of different ones in here, and they all come in around 30 bucks. So if you have somebody who's a hardcore Patriots fan or a hardcore Giants fan or whatever it is, you can buy them a Carhartt / team hat. So it's pretty cool. I'm not much of a sports fan myself, but I know plenty of people who would appreciate this kind of thing. So I think that might be a great gift for somebody and something they may not expect. At somewhere around $45, we have the EDC flashlight from Phoenix, which actually comes in at 700 lumens from this little thing. It's sweet looking. It almost looks like a Duracell battery, but they're really, really cool. I mean, 45 bucks. It's interesting because my first good flashlight was a TK12 from Phoenix, and I still have it. It still works great, and I've put that thing through hell. So this is a great little option, especially for somebody who's into EDC. I believe it uses a single CR123 battery. Now you can actually get a bundle which includes a rechargeable battery in a case as well. So it's kind of an all-in-one system, and I really like the ability to recharge my batteries and put them in the flashlight rather than buy a bunch of AA or AAA or whatever it is. Just feels wasteful to throw them out at the end of the day. I've always preferred recharging. And 700 lumens for 45 bucks in a flashlight that will last a long time. If my old TK12 is any indication, these things last basically forever. These little LEDs are just amazing. They've come so far. So there you go, the Phoenix E16 700 lumen EDC flashlight. Pretty amazing. The company Sanguine makes some incredible mustache scissors. Now, if you're somebody like me who has some facial hair and it gets to the length where you really can't trim it up properly with like a regular sort of trimmer with a guard on it, especially around the mustache area here, you have to get a good sharp pair of scissors. Now, I've used a whole bunch of different scissors, which were all cheap, and they ended up just basically like pulling the hairs and not actually cutting them. I said, forget it, got to get something good. These are the best I've ever used. They also come with a little mustache comb, which is pretty neat, so you can actually kind of comb it around, trim it up. They're so sharp, they just cut so cleanly. Really nice. Now, you can get them a couple different places. It looks like the most expensive place is 45 bucks. You could do better than that. On Amazon, they're $25.50. They come with a little case. As I mentioned, they also come with a little comb. So if you have somebody on your list, or maybe even you're just looking for something to add to your own list, you have a beard, these Sanguine scissors are unbeatable, in my opinion. The Thomas Glover pocket reference, now this comes in somewhere around 15 bucks, depending on where you buy it, is amazing. I got one of these based on somebody who recommended it on Instagram, and it has everything from weather patterns to nut and bolt varieties. Basically, it's a reference for almost anything that you never knew that you needed to know. A lot of very, very interesting information there, from electrical to mechanical to weather to body mass index, all kinds of stuff. This is one of those things that's really nice to have handy when it's not necessarily something that you can Google easily. When I mean something that may require a table. It has different knots in there. It just seems like the wealth of information inside this little tiny book is almost endless. Very, very cool, and a lot of information. Very fun to read for somewhere around 15 bucks. For $14.99 from Priority Bicycles, you can get yourself a rust-free brass bell. Now I know, all right, I get it. All right, why would you want a little bell on your bicycle? What are you, 6 years old? Well, I ride the rail trails around here a lot. I just got a Priority bicycle, which I love. I want to do a review on it. And we have to signal people. So rather than just always saying, on your left, which sometimes people can't hear, this is a really cool retro-looking bell, which you could just ding, and then, you go right by somebody. Maybe it's not for you, but maybe it's for somebody who you're buying for. And I think that this is a really cool place. Priority Bicycles is really interesting. And for 14 bucks, hey, why not? I have listed the Moose brand palm key holder on almost every gift guide I've ever done because I've used mine since I got it, and it's the coolest little thing. $27, and you get this like brass hardware, veg tanned leather, beautiful craftsmanship. If you're trying to get somebody sort of hooked on the world of beautiful leather craft, this is a wonderful option. Made in the USA, and it'll hold all your keys. Now, the only thing is it will not hold any of those fancy sort of newer car keys, which have a big fob attached to them. It won't hold those, but traditional house keys and the like go into it. And it's a great way to keep them all sort of compartmentalized. And I love mine. It's petiteed very nicely. I think it'd make a great gift. I've given a couple as gifts. Moose brand. Awesome stuff. Next up is a gift card to a small maker's shop. Now, especially during COVID, a lot of the small makers have been hit pretty hard. So there's plenty of them out there who would really appreciate the business of at least buying a gift card. So I purchased a gift card from Himmel Brothers, one of my favorite leather jacket makers, a couple of different artists, and they make a great gift because it's like, here you go. I can't get you all the way there, but pick out something that you like, and here you go. You got $50 towards whatever it is, and that can go a long way. Now, in the case of Himmel Brothers, that might cover shipping, but depending on who it is. So I think that a gift card to somebody like K&H Leather, smaller makers that are out there, really does go a long way, and you don't have to worry about a return or anything. And you give the person the option to buy whatever it is they want, and you get to support a small local maker as well. So I think that should really be higher on this list. For $17, you can get the book Roughing It from Mark Twain, which is actually repackaged in a new modern way by Gibbs Smith. Now, this book is actually really interesting, and Mark Twain is sort of a local hero around here. He lived in Connecticut. I've been to his restored house. It's beautiful. And this is a really cool book, especially if you're into that rugged kind of thing, which is why I chose it for this list. So $17, a piece of classic literature, great stocking stuffer, and one of those pieces that you'll probably have for a long time. Pisgah Range makes some of the toughest bootlaces, shoelaces out there, and the coolest thing about them is they're all like $10 and they have a lifetime guarantee. Now, they're made beautifully from, I believe, 550 paracord. They have metal tips on the end of them, and they come in a wide range of different colors, patterns. You can get basically anything you want to go wild with your bootlaces or something that's more subdued. And again, small local company. So you can get a pair of these. You get 5 pairs of these and be at $50, and you'll have enough laces to last you the rest of your life, ostensibly. So they're really interesting, and again, I love these smaller makers. I wanted to bring them to your attention because I think that even if it's not for a gift, maybe just for yourself, $10 isn't bad. Now, from what I understand, due to COVID, somewhat the amount that he's been able to make has been reduced somewhat, so you may want to jump on these early if you want to get a few pairs of them. But then again, you have a couple months until the holiday season, so have at it. Pisgah Range. Speaking of smaller makers, Dapper Woodworks makes a number of different products, especially really cool looking tie racks and different hangers, basically organization when it comes to modern day menswear type of things. He's also begun to make some pretty cool looking lapel pins, and I say he because it's one guy who's making all of these things, and come up with some really interesting designs, really nice stuff. So again, depending on what you get, if you get a huge long, tie rack, it's going to be more than $50. But if you get something that's a little bit smaller, you can stay under $50. But the best thing to do is go over. I think if you look at his Instagram, it works best as a sort of catalog for what he offers. So many cool things over there, stuff that you are going to love, and the person that you give it to will love as well. And it'll have a story behind it, and you actually did support a local maker, as we've discussed. So that's Dapper Woodworks. Go check them out. Now, I mentioned them before. Darn Tough Vermont socks are my favorite socks. Now, there are better socks out there with linked toes and stuff like that, but they're more expensive. So when it comes to socks, the ones that I buy most are Darn Tough Vermont socks. I have so many of these things in different cushion levels and different thicknesses for different times of the year. But anytime I reach into my sock drawer, I'm pulling out a pair of Darn Tough. You get all the benefits of wool, a really cool local company, just awesome stuff for a good price. And again, I want to try Fox River. I want to see if there's something else out there for less, which does a similar thing, but these made in the USA socks are really tough to beat. Now, if you don't have a Carhartt watch cap in your collection somewhere, what are you even doing, man? I mean, these things are under $20 in a huge, huge array of colors. They're super duper warm. They're made in the USA. And basically everybody from forklift operators to people on Wall Street and doctors and stuff have these because They're super warm. They're cheap enough that you could leave one in your car just for like incidental purposes. And they're like a no-brainer. They really are. When it comes to just getting a hat that works for snow blowing, hiking, or whatever you're going to do in the cold months, the Carhartt hats basically have everything you could possibly want at an incredible price. So I think you can get different colors here, and looks like the prices, they change a little bit. I'm seeing one here for $16.99. I believe they have a few that may have some patterns, which come in a little bit more expensive at like $19.99. Yeah, they have a lookout hat, which is a little bit different. A woodside hat. That's really cool. Like kind of a waffle pattern. $19.99. Again, nobody's breaking the bank here. But it's worth going over there and kind of looking around. And again, these are all made in the USA and from a brand that is one of my favorites. You know, even if you have one, nobody minds getting another one of these. Now, Yeti is one of those brands that began this whole craze of these super duper vacuum sealed insulated drinkware and stuff and coolers. Now, a lot of people say that Yeti sort of went commercial and there's other brands who are doing it better. It's an interesting thing to maybe look into. But all I do know is that Yeti is expensive, but usually you get what you pay for. And my mother, my wife, my sister all have products from them, which they absolutely love. So the proof is in the pudding, right? The one that I think is really cool, though, is called it's a Rambler 24-ounce mug, and it has a standard lid. Now, especially in this like flat black, it looks pretty sweet. Now, it's not as cool as this right here, but it's still cool. And, you know, it's vacuum sealed. It's something that you can travel with, which you can't do with a ceramic mug. But these are super cool, and it looks like this is something that's exclusive to the Yeti website. Like, you can't actually buy it in a store. I know you could buy these at like Walmart and stuff, but this is something that you can only buy on their website, so it makes it even cooler. And it comes in at $34.99, so $35. You could give somebody one of these very interesting and pretty exclusive pieces, which they are going to go, man, how did I live without this? You know, it keeps things crazy cold. It keeps things insanely warm. Whatever you put in there, it basically stays at that temperature or very close to it. So Yeti, this 24-ounce Rambler, it's pretty awesome looking. From my friends over at Standard and Strange, we have the Clip and Go mask and key ring. Now, this is a really cool looking thing. It's basically like what it's supposed to do is more or less give you a place to clip the mask that we're all required to wear now out in public to the side of your pants. And it's $45, but it's made by Runabout Goods, so it's actually made decently. And it's a good way to keep your mask close by. Now, I say mask, but basically it's a loop with a snap. It doesn't only have to hold a mask. You can put almost anything you want through there, and it allows you to carry it. But the cool thing is, again, it's an interesting little accessory, something that usually you won't see around very much. And Standard and Strange is one of my favorite shops. I really wanted to include them on this list. And at $45, this does come in under $50, and it's something that is probably not exactly expected from whoever's receiving it. Now, I told you this would be the first look at something exclusive, and this is what it is right here. This is my first product ever. Now, I didn't actually hand make these candles. I had somebody make them for me. I found a great place out on the west coast of the U.S., a husband and wife team, as a matter of fact, who make these candles single-handedly, and they're just incredible. Now, we went with this really cool-looking rustic amber jar with this, you know, sort of distressed-looking lid. More importantly, though, what's on the inside here. Now, this is a fragrance that we actually went back and forth on because I wanted something that would represent this channel, you know, what we cover here. So we went with a fragrance which has tobacco, leather, musk, and amber. So it's a very masculine kind of scent, but not something that's like, you know, pure cigar smoke. I think it's beautiful. I love it. Now, I had 100 of these made, only 100, and after that, I'm not sure we're going to make any more. Now, these will be available on my own website, which is linked below. I wanted to put it last here because it feels so selfish putting it first before anything else. So if you're watching this to the end and you wanted to see what I'm talking about, here we go. Now, these were not cheap to make. They're going to be selling for $25, and I mean, you know, my first product, I'm going to give this a run. I'm going to try it. I will be packaging up all of these and shipping them out myself, so, you know, give me a break when it comes to getting them to you. This will be available on my website very, very soon, so if you want something that is truly limited, because I'm not going to be making any more after this, this is a pretty cool example. So you could buy 2 of these if you wanted to for $50, or 1 for $25, or, you know, multiply it out and do your own damn arithmetic. But anyway, there you go. My first product. I know it's probably not what people expected, being a candle, but it's something that I wanted to do. So there you go. My first product here, and that's this cool, high quality, low key, which is what I'm calling it, candle. So really cool stuff. I hope you get to pick one up because they smell amazing. Anyway, guys, I'm losing my voice. It's been a long video. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Hopefully you found something in this video that is going to be good for a gift for somebody else, for you, maybe for somebody who's anonymous, who knows. But either way, and please have a very happy and safe holiday, but chances are I'll see you long before that. Take care.